Hello friends, it's Lionheart here, and the card channel is kicking off. It's not just Gwent these days, because I have heard that we have a Cyberpunk TCG on the way. Now, it is coming from Weirdco, and it's officially licensed by CDPR. You know I love myself a card game, and if it's attached to a CDPR property, well, what can I say? So, what do we know so far? This product is going to launch through Kickstarter sometime next year. I'm going to guess early-ish next year, but obviously I have no idea. I'm not affiliated with the product in any way. I just figure if they've announced it, they must have, a date in mind. I know something going through Kickstarter can be a concern for some people, which I completely get. Some Kickstarter launches can be problematic. It's officially licensed by CDPR is what's giving me the hope, because they are very, very rigid with where they tend to license their IPs out to and give people control. They'll do little collabs every now and again with other games, but to fully give someone the ability to create a product doesn't happen that often. So it gives me some excitement. And honestly, just the sheer number of people interested in this, their official Discord has exploded. There is so much hype over there. Honestly, it is going nuts, and you should absolutely join it. The details, I'll put them in the description somewhere, right? And you can also sign up to get yourself the bonus card, Lucy, if you sign up for early info on the Kickstarter. When you then back the Kickstarter, you will get that bonus card as well. Seems pretty cool to me. I do like a freebie. A link to do that is also in the description of this video. You're welcome. What do we know? Well, the series itself is cyberpunk focused, and the first set is going to be focusing predominantly on the characters from the games from Cyberpunk 2077, but they have said future sets will also then bring in other parts of the IP as well, like Edge Runners. That's very exciting for several reasons, because A, Edge Runners is so good, and B, they're already planning for the future, so that already makes me happy. We don't know a lot of the official mechanics yet, but I think we can do some investigation work, because if you look around and we pick through the trailer and the various places things are out, we can see a handful of cards that have already been shown. Now, it appears that there are factions within this. I don't know if they're going to be called that. Obviously, Corpo, Nomad, Street Kid, they appear to be like tags, not that way. That way. Tags attached to certain cards. And I don't know whether or not you have to deck build with only one of them, or if perhaps your deck can have some Corpo, some Nomad, or it just benefits you to have a synergistic strategy. Honestly, we don't know the answer to that yet. This is also a good time to mention that, like, all of these assets, all of the text in them, it's a work in progress, so everything over here absolutely could change. So, and obviously I'm just guessing in reality, right? But hey, we will see. One of the things we've seen, which I really love actually, is that the cards have like a premium version, effectively, or some of them, like this Goro actually, good timing. There is another version of this card, and I'm a big fan of that in TCGs. I believe for a TCG to survive, it needs a lot of things to go well, and it needs to have a lot of things in it. I think it needs an active competitive scene, both locally, regionally, and even on a bigger scale where possible eventually. But it also has to appeal to collectors and the more casual players as well, to feed both sides of that market so that it doesn't become a tiny little niche that isn't worth most game stores stocking after it gets through its Kickstarter phase. Obviously, the other thing is access to product. How often have you played a TCG and it's near impossible to actually get a hold of the product to play it, right? So they're the big things for me. Having more premium, whatever they're called, versions of cards, I think that's a good thing, personally. The other thing that I'm a real fan of that they have announced, and I think this is really, really important in life, honestly, but especially for something creative, it is very, very clear that no AI is going to be used with the art or the game design ever. That That's a 10 out of 10 from me. Honestly, sign me up on that part alone. Literally 0 notes from me. But now we are going to dive in to a little bit more information about each type of card that we know about. The first one is the Legends. So these cards, from what I can see from the other cards, it appears that you play these face down initially, and then there are different ways that you flip them. I don't know if maybe you have to assign them to specific gigs, we'll get there, or what, I don't know. But cards like Emergency Atlas, which is here, you may flip one of your legends. That kind of gave me the realization that a legend isn't like the face card that you play your deck around, the thing that gets defeated to win the game. Because initially I thought, oh, okay, so I'm going to play a V deck, and once V is defeated, I lose. Or once I defeat their, I don't know, Jackie Wells, I win. That doesn't seem to be the case from what that says. Then we have a variety of unit cards. Units are, well, they're what you'd expect. They are literal units. They all seem to have abilities. They're not as special as specific legends, but they seem to help with them, right? So that's what that is. They make certain things more powerful across the board. Again, I assume we assign them to gigs. We also have gear like those optics or these mandibular upgrades. They equip to legends or units, but it seems you can also defeat, is the word it uses, certain gear as well by destroying it. I think you can specifically target gear in a variety of different ways to make the opponent's cards weaker. The last thing that isn't a card, so far as I can see, are those gigs. They seem to be, from the wording on all the cards we have, objectives that you can complete. And it seems like they get progressively harder, and you gain a currency called street cred when you do it. None of them so far have been revealed, and we don't know what they mean, but we know these things because Saburo here, wonderfully hidden by that Cyberpunk logo, good job me, he mentions that units steal an extra gig for every 10 power. So I don't know if maybe the gigs are like a central pool that you don't put in your own deck, and you have to sign up for them, use resources to get them. I guess we will find out. I'm not 100% sure. And maybe it's unique to specifically like this, no, not this card. I don't know. But it does imply that gigs are more of a shared pool, right? That's what it seems to say, to me anyway. And I could be wrong, obviously, it's happened before. But if we look at the card here, and in fact, we won't use Saburo, we'll use someone else. No, not him either. Goro. Goro is perfect. So if we look at the card, the layout of them will give us some information, but we don't really know what any of these things mean yet. My assumption is that the number in the top left is a cost to play. You've got the Eurodollar symbol underneath it. Top right, I'm not sure. That initially I thought it was a literal dollar, but that doesn't make sense. And they're multipliers of some description. I don't know if they multiply the amount of reward from a gig you do based on the card, because a lot of them have got ×1, which basically means nothing, but others have increasing multipliers on them. So maybe using that card for something increases the reward you get from a gig. The bottom right looks like it is power, and I assume that is damage to an opposing something, right? Because you can equip gear, and when you equip the gear, they always have plus in those slots if they're adding, and they are embedded under the card, like stacked effectively when they're in play, from what I can see of the footage that's out there so far. Abilities. Now, there are quite a few that we can already see. I'm sure I saw a card with not blocker, but bodyguard. And I don't know what that would be when blocker, which we can see here, is in the game. Blocker allows you to spend a unit to force it to be the target of an incoming attack. I don't know if that kills it, if each card actually has a health pool as one of these. I don't know if like the attack is effectively the health, or what I think is the cost in the top corner is the health. I honestly don't know. I don't think it's the top corner, simply because some cards have 0, and it would be weird if they had 0 HP. But I honestly don't know how that's going to work yet, and I'd love to hear what you think. We have power, which appears to be damage. That is referenced on a couple of different cards, and that's effectively the backwards and forwards of how you hit. I don't know if it's other cards, legends, whether there is a central face card that leads the deck, possibly sort of like a champion that you would have. I don't know. There is an ability in the tag section on the Lucy card as well that you can get for signing up for the Kickstarter. It says overclocking. Now, I don't know if that's a specific ability that perhaps means you can equip additional pieces of gear, if you think lore-wise, to that character above a set level, or I don't know what it is. Honestly, we will find out when we get there. Also, things like Corpo also has things like Arasaka as less like a secondary tag, almost. But I don't know if perhaps you can only have Arasaka Corpo, or you can have Corpo and Arasaka Corpo in a deck, for instance. We know that V's card, let me get rid of these two. We know that the V card talks about the first time an opponent discards a card from the top of their deck each turn. Now, I don't know if that's a mechanic specifically caused by V and cards around her, or if it's something that everybody has to do, and as a result is one of the game's mechanics. Do you have to discard a card every turn and draw the second one in this game? Honestly, who knows? Street cred. Now, we know from the game what street cred is. It's how cool you are, and it kind of unlocks different stories or options as you gain more of it if you're playing Cyberpunk. This could be a win condition, i.e., to win the game, you must get so much street cred. It could also be a mechanic that helps you get there instead, which isn't quite the same thing. So if we look at the Yorinobu card, for example, the ability says, well, if you have less than 20, do this. Well, that tells me to win, if it is a win condition, we need even more than 20, and that's quite a big jump, I would imagine. So, what do we need, 50 street cred to win the game? Who knows, if that is indeed the mechanic. But we do not know that yet. Other cards with abilities. Cards like Off-Duty Malfini, it discusses attacking an opponent directly. So this could mean that actually there is a central health pool, but I think that's more likely to mean attacking an opponent's unit or legend directly. But I would have thought it would have specified that instead if that were the case, so who knows? Who knows? But from all of this, what I think is going to be the case is we're going to have gigs and access to multiple gigs from some sort of central collective pile, and you need more street cred to do the more difficult ones, or the higher your street cred, different versions of that gig become available, possibly. So maybe the progression is completing gigs and the street cred is like a pseudo mana situation, and whoever climbs to the top of, I don't know, Arasaka Tower, for instance, wins the game, having completed gig on floor 1, 2, 3, 4. This would mean that you'd have to kind of split your focus between getting to the top yourself and attacking your opponent's units and legends to stop them getting there. Think of it like Disney lore card as Race to 20 lore. Some decks just want to race there themselves, but other decks want to stop their opponent being able to get there and then slowly get themselves there. Cross that with maybe Marvel Snap's location-based gameplay, where you're trying to win more locations than others. I'm just speculating based on the games I've played before. It's probably nothing like this, but I'd love to hear what you think from what we've seen. It's even possible that this game has multiple win conditions, and it's get to here, or this, in the way that, for instance, in Lorcana it is get to 20 lore, or your opponent has no cards left to draw at the start of their turn. Maybe there are multiple. I have no idea. I cannot wait to see just how wrong I am about this, right? I really can't. We have got a few gameplay teasers of things that they tell us. So they do say that form the ultimate crew, mix and match your favorite characters. Okay, we know that. And we're going to gain eddies, gigs, and increase our rep. So it makes sense that perhaps it is going to be about street cred, and we have to adapt to dynamic gigs. That makes me think that whatever gigs are, they are more of a central thing that can happen in the game, and the more street cred you have, the different versions of it you could do, like a weird version of a scenario in Gwent, for instance, where if I have got 20 street cred, I jump straight to this version and get this benefit, or this, yeah, possibly, who knows. Lock down your crew to protect a valuable gig, or set your sights on the opponents, what we were discussing before. Hit the major leagues. The higher you climb in Night City, the tougher the fights get. Top level gigs go hard and fast, with your growing reputation granting access to more powerful tools and abilities, but the same is true for your opponent. So that's what we know. That's the information we have so far. I am very, very excited to see what is going to come from this, and I'm absolutely going to be following its development. Again, not affiliated with them in any way. I just like CDPR products, and I happen to have a Cyberpunk t-shirt, so what can you do? But I could theorize about this forever. We don't know enough information yet. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below, though. And if you are interested in this or other TCGs, please do drop me a follow, as I will be creating content on more of them. You'll have noticed we're back to some Gwent content. Lorcana is coming back as well with the drop of the next set. So please keep your eyes peeled on the channel. I would really, really appreciate it. Oh, and if you like my other content, if you want to watch me play RPGs, whether that's JRPGs, MMORPGs, or like audiobook narrations, because I do those too, drop me a follow on my other YouTube, Lionheart Plays. Thank you for being here, friends. I cannot wait for this. Take care.